still kills me that there are people who legitimately prefer Resurrection over this timeline as a whole. Halloween was released in 2018, directed by David Gordon Green, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, Andy Matichak, and Will Patton. And I was super excited for this movie back in 2018 when it was first coming out. I got so much into the spirit of the franchise, and basically my entire life was consumed by this movie in October of 2018. So let's go ahead and get started on the good. And I really do love this movie. It's a great reintroduction to the franchise. Jamie Lee Curtis does a terrific job in this film, back as Laurie Strode. After the disrespect they showed her in Halloween Resurrection, I just really loved her performance here. In fact, I would say that her performance in this movie is a career best, damn near Oscar worthy in my opinion. And I just really loved how she portrayed this lady who's haunted by the events from 40 years ago. Kind of like H2O, but 20 more years later. But either way, I just thought she was great. And there's this scene in the movie where they're transferring Michael along with a bunch of other prisoners to more maximum security prison, and Laurie Strode's just sitting there in her truck holding a revolver, breaking down as she watches the transfer happen. And honestly, that's probably the best acting I've seen from Jamie Lee Curtis in her entire career, and she's a great actress, so that's saying a lot. Then you have the other characters in this movie. First, you have the character of Allison, played by Andy Matichak, who is Laurie's granddaughter. I thought she did a terrific job. I really love this character, and I really hope that Halloween Ends isn't the full end, but we do see more of Allison later on down the road. Then you have Judy Greer as Karen, Laurie's daughter. A lot of people don't really like her, but I actually like her. I wasn't a big fan of her at first, but she's kind of grown on me as a character. Probably because I saw Halloween Kills last year. But I really liked her. And then you have the character of Officer Hawkins, played by Will Patton. Probably my favorite new character to come out of this entire timeline. I just love Will Patton. He's a great actor. And I love seeing this character he plays. I'm really glad that they kind of retconned his death in this movie in Halloween Kills, but that's aside from my point. I like Officer Hawkins, and I'm really excited to see him back in Halloween Ends as well. And then you have probably the funniest character, Julian. I really love this little kid. He's absolutely hilarious. I love the dialogue that comes out of his mouth, and honestly, the last time we see him, what he says honestly makes me laugh out loud every time I watch the movie. But that's aside from the point. And obviously you have Michael Myers, played by James Jude Courtney, and he is just as great as ever. I love this portrayal of Michael. Aside from Tyler Mane, he's probably my favorite portrayal of Michael. He's brutal, he's older, but he's still just as sadistic as he always has been. And I love the kills in this movie. The bathroom kill, especially near the beginning, absolutely terrific. And it has probably my favorite shot of Michael Myers after he murders these true crime podcasters in a public bathroom. He just goes to their car and opens it up and puts the mask back on after 40 years. It's just an absolutely terrific scene. Probably the most iconic shot of this new timeline in the Halloween franchise. And then you also have the third act and the story. I really like the story of Michael coming back to Haddonfield. I really love the whole continuing shot of him stalking throughout Haddonfield, killing people, picking up a hammer, dropping it to get a knife. It's just really great. And I really like the third act within Laurie's house. And yeah, this could have been a great ending to the entire franchise, because this was meant to be the final Halloween movie, specifically with Jamie Lee Curtis, but it made money, so they greenlit 2 more films. But that's aside from the point. I love the way it ended. And then finally, the score. absolutely amazing. I love the score in this movie. I love the fact that they kind of recreated the classic opening with the same text font, the same grainy glow to the text, but with a twist because the pumpkin is rotted in the opening and it slowly comes back to life, which is symbolic for the Halloween franchise being presumed dead after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was met with less than welcome reception. I still enjoy the movie. And this movie revitalized the franchise, much like the pumpkin is revitalized in the opening credits. And that's about all for the good. Let's go ahead on to the bad. And I do have some issues with this movie. First of all, the character of Dr. Sartain can go. I do not like this character. I don't like the subplot involving him. And he just felt kind of pointless in the long run of the entire movie. He only served in the third act to get Michael from point A to point B for the third act, and then he gets killed, so it really goes nowhere. And the scene where he wears Michael's mask, don't like it. And my other one is a lot of the humor in this movie just does not land for me, specifically with Toby Huss's character. I love Toby Huss, but his character just didn't do much for me. And yeah, the humor just wasn't really doing anything for me. But aside from that, that's about all. So on to the final thoughts. I do really like this movie. It's a great revitalization of the Halloween franchise. Also, it erased the canon of Laurie being Michael's sister. I was never a fan of that thing within the series, so I'm glad it retconned that. But yeah, Halloween 2018, great entry, and I really have fun with it, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Halloween 2018. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all tomorrow for Halloween Kills.